Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger, the hero in the U.S. Airways pilot who safely landed his plane in New York's Hudson River in 2009 after it struck a flock of geese after takeoff. He is now a CBS News aviation and safety expert, and he joins us this morning from San Francisco. Captain, good morning to you.
Good morning, Benita. Good morning, Anthony. I wish it were under better circumstances.
Absolutely. I mean, this is really a frightening situation, and I think people are baffled. I mean, how does a plane of this size flying over land just disappear?
It's not clear to me if this was a portion of the flight where they were under constant air traffic control radar surveillance from the ground, or if they were between air traffic control centers and basically navigating on their own until they got to the next reporting point where they would then be observed by radar again. I think that's one of the things that may make this finding of the aircraft more difficult.
Sully, officials have said that they did not receive a distress call from this plane. How unusual is that?
Not terribly unusual. This harkens back to the June 1st, 2009 crash of Air France 447 over the South Atlantic. Of course, that happened over the middle of a deep ocean in the middle of the night. It was some time before the wreckage was found, about almost 2 years. Of course, the water is much deeper in the South Atlantic than it would be in the South China Sea. But pilots are trained to do the highest priority items first, and when faced with a sudden emergency in the cockpit, their first priority they're trained to do is to fly the airplane, fly it well, to navigate, to know where they are and where they should be going, then begin in a step-by-step troubleshooting process to solve whatever emergency they find. Only then, after all those things are being done, do they take the time to communicate with someone. So if they were faced with a sudden challenge, a high workload, a lot of time pressure, it wouldn't be unusual at all for them not to have time to communicate until the higher priority things of flying and fixing the airplane had been done.
You know, based on the radar right now, we know that they were at close to 35,000 feet when they basically lost contact. When you're typically in a cockpit at that altitude, what's happening?
Well, that's one of the more calmer and less risky parts of the flight. If you look at the data that the Boeing company and others have created in the history of the entire jet age, only a small percentage of accidents happen in the cruise portion of the flight. Most accidents happen in the landing or the takeoff portion.
Sully, this is a plane with a very good safety record, the 777. There were no reported storms in the area. I mean, what do we think could have happened here?
The possibilities are quite open at this point. We simply don't know enough. Again, this is somewhat similar, at least initially, to the Air France situation where they were in cruise flight and then they suddenly lost control of the airplane. We don't know if this crew lost control of the airplane, but that is one of many things that will be investigated. Once they find the aircraft and are able to recover both the digital flight data recorder, which records the flight parameters, and they recovered the cockpit voice recorder, the sounds and the voices in the cockpit, they should have a lot more information to go on.
Well, I had read also at the time they only had about 7.5 hours of fuel. So right now, I guess by the clock, this flight would be out of fuel. Captain Sully Sullenberger, thank you.
Good to be with you.